Frank Hartman is definitely a trustworthy lawyer. He's one of those guys out there that that's a good guy. I can trust him with my case. I can basically trust him with my life. I am Tori Nolan, Tori for short, and I live on the Air Force Base in Charleston, South Carolina. I was in an accident on Machoke Parkway. I think that's how you pronounce it. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was rear-ended and then pushed into another car. The car I was in was totaled, and I was taken to the emergency room. I was driving a 2003 Mercury Mountaineer. After I was in the hospital for about an hour and a half, an officer came in, told me that the driver behind me was at fault. He gave me the police report, and then he left. My car, the back was completely totaled. The trunk was smashed into the back, and the glass was broken. The lights were banged up. I guess the framing might have been a little bit messed up. The front, it was just a couple of dents because I guess it hit the trailer of the car in front of me. So it went into the bumper and kind of messed that up a little bit. I suffered a herniated disc in my L5-S1 lower disc in my back. At the time, I also suffered a knee injury because my right knee was banged into the dash. I later found out that I have a little bit of arthritis in the back due to the accident, and that I had a little bit of a rupture in the disc later on from not being able to move much. This accident, it affected me a lot. I am a stay-at-home mom. My husband's in the military. I have to wear a back brace about half the day. I still can't walk long distances. Short distance, I'm okay. I still have a little bit of a limp because it's mostly on my left side. I have to continue with therapy and getting shots in my back, and I just feel like I can't really do much as a mother, because when you want to be outside chasing after your kids and you can't because you can barely walk after them, most likely going to affect me for the rest of my life because I think it's 13% whole body impaired. So yeah, I'm never going to be 100% okay. I have to be in good spirits because it's very easy to get depressed and unhappy, but it could have been worse. And that's what I always say, it could have been worse. So I have to be thankful for the fact that it wasn't worse. Yes, Frank Hartman is definitely one of the things that keeps me in good spirits because he is an awesome lawyer. He's the one that got me into therapy and the shots in my back. He's the one that recommended the treatment that I've had that has given me some sort of relief. If I didn't have him as my lawyer, I probably would still be stuck on bed rest, not knowing what I'm supposed to do at all. I had no clue what I was supposed to do once I got into an accident. I've never been in an accident before, never been around anybody who's been in an accident, so it was all new to me. After my accident, I was shaken up, worried. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, and my mom said, well, why don't you try to find a lawyer who can help you out? And I decided to get the internet up and hopping, and I checked around for a couple of lawyers who specified in bodily injury from car accidents, and I came across Frank Hartman's name and the website, and there were some testimonials that made me realize that, he's probably the best guy for the job. And so I decided to call him, and then once I called him and actually talked to him, I realized, yeah, I want this guy on my case. I spoke to one other, and it's just sometimes you get a vibe off of somebody. I'm really good at gauging what a person's intentions are, and he just did not make me feel secure in anything. From the moment I talked to him, he did not make me feel like I wanted him to represent me. And then when I talked to Frank, it was the complete opposite. His whole thing was, even if I don't represent you, I want to make sure that you know what your options are. And to me, that's a big deal because I didn't know what my options were. I didn't even know where to start. And, even before I agreed to take him on as my lawyer, he was saying, okay, you need to get this done. You need to get that done. You should go get checked by your doctor. And it just made me feel like, yes, this is the guy that needs to represent me, because if he's doing all this and he's not my lawyer yet, I want to see what he could do if he is my lawyer. He came to see me because, as I said, I was injured. I wasn't able to move. I was on crutches for my knee. My back was hurt, and we had two kids, and my husband's working, and he actually came out to the Air Force Base to meet with me and my husband. He broke everything down to where I understood what he was saying, and he wasn't talking at me. He was talking to me as a person, to me as somebody who was injured, not as somebody who could make him some money. And that right there impressed me a lot, because I've been talked at a lot by different doctors and different people. And so you basically say, okay, yeah, you don't have my best interest in heart. You want to get what you want from me, and then you want me to go. And by him talking to me and telling me, this is what's going to happen, he broke it down from, we're going to start this. It could take however long it's going to take, and just know that I have your best interest in heart. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, yeah, this guy, he does have my best interest in heart. He does know what he's talking about. I was surprised when he told me he was going to come out himself. I thought he might send somebody else to just gauge whether this was something he really wanted to do. There's a lot of people who tell you one thing, say, okay, I'll be out, but then that's their way of saying, well, somebody's coming to see you. And the fact that he himself has come out, he himself has handled my case. Whenever I call, he answers, or within 5 minutes, if I leave him a message, he will call back, let me know, I'm so sorry I couldn't get to you. What can I do for you today? That means a lot, because, he could just take my case and not ask for my input, not ask me, well, what do you want to do? How do you feel about this? And always asking how I'm feeling, if I need anything. So, and that's what I like. Frank Hartman did settle my case for 6 figures, which is great to me. It takes care of my medical bills, any future bills I come up with, helps out, the family, and that covered his fees and everything like that. And it just, it makes you feel safe to know you have somebody out there looking out for you, somebody who's willing to go to distance and get you what they think you deserve. 3 words that best describe Frank Hartman as a lawyer would be dedicated, because he is extremely dedicated to every case he gets. Hardworking, because he is definitely hardworking when he's working for you. And passionate, because you can tell he's passionate about what he does. He's passionate about his job. He's passionate about his clients. He's just when it comes to his work, he's very passionate. In my opinion, Frank Hartman is definitely an honest lawyer. He has never lied to me. He has never made me believe that anything was what it wasn't. He basically told me point blank, this is what we're working on. This is what we want to do. This is what we most likely will be able to do. He never led me to believe that anything was different than what he could do, which I find that's really refreshing. Frank Hartman is definitely a trustworthy lawyer. He's one of those guys out there that that's a good guy. I can trust him with my case. I can basically trust him with my life. I have never really had to work with a lawyer, so I was not really sure what I was getting into. I've heard a lot of different stories that a lot of lawyers are sharks. They want one thing. They're not going to take your case if they don't think that they can make money off of you, that lawyers are out for themselves, that, you have to be careful because you never know what you're going to get. You're going to get the sneaky lawyer who just, he wants that money, so he's going to do whatever he has to, whether it's what you want or not, or you're going to get the untrustworthy lawyer who he's out for numero uno. And then when I met Frank Hartman, I realized, okay, yeah, those were just myths, because this is the real deal. This is a great guy who really wants to make sure that not only am I okay, but my family's okay too. I was really, really worried with this accident and with trying to find the right lawyer for my case, and if I even had a case. I had no idea what I was doing, and I was just afraid that I was going to be stuck with somebody who would just not be looking out for my best interests. And to find a lawyer who is as dedicated and as just all around amazing as Frank Hartman is just I feel like he's one in a million, and I feel like I'm actually pretty blessed to have him as my lawyer, because I don't know where this case would have been. I don't know that anybody else could have done myself justice as he has, and has just taken care of me in the way that he has. Sometimes I do wonder if I'm going to wake up and get that call that, okay, yeah, we're in the first stages of your lawsuit, and we're here for you, but in the back of their mind, you could hear their mind ticking off like, yeah, what can I take from you? Oh yeah, I'm gonna take your money, whatever you make, I'm gonna take majority of it. And when I wake up and realize that that's not the case, I'm extremely happy about that. I mean, even as my lawyer, if he sees that his take is going to be more than my take, he's already told me that it would never be that way, that I'm always going to walk away with more money than he has. I don't really know if there's a lawyer out there who would do that, who would make sure that you have more than they do. Honestly, I feel like if I ever needed any help in the future, I could just call him up and say, hey, Frank, I need some legal advice. My mom's already got a Christmas card. She makes cards. She's already got a Christmas card made up for him for all the help that he has done. My mom and my dad are extremely happy with the case, but extremely shocked at the way things have progressed. I mean, when I first got into my accident, my mom was like, well, I had a similar situation. She had workman's comp, and she was like, you're looking at about maybe 2 years, 3 years before you see anything, if that. Make sure you're careful, because some of the lawyers that she's dealt with, the personal injury for the workman's comp, they were not really looking for her best interests. And when I told her, I'm like, I think I found a great lawyer over here, she was like, well, hey, can he move to Ohio, maybe? So yeah, they're really, really happy with the way the case is. Really happy that I found him as my lawyer, and that he's looking out for myself, their grandkids, my husband. So I'm telling them, if you want to find somebody who's out for you, not out for themselves, not out for anybody else, who's 100% there for you, then you need to hire Frank. You need to find him wherever you are. Look him up online. I give you his number. You need this lawyer as your lawyer. He is one of a kind. He's out for you. He's not out for himself. He's out to make sure that your case is settled the way it's supposed to be. He's out to make sure that you get whatever you're entitled to. My whole thing in the beginning was, hey, whatever happens, whatever I get is more than I have. And his whole thing was, no, whatever you get is what you deserve. And, it takes you a while to actually realize that, because I've never been the type of person that's like, oh, yeah, I want this, I want that, because it makes you feel like you're greedy. But like you said, no, if it's something that you deserve, you're not being greedy. You're just getting what you deserve. You're getting what you're entitled to. And nobody else, I don't think anybody else would actually be like that. I don't think anybody else actually cares that much to try to make you see and make you understand that you're worth more than what you think you are. I don't really think there's any lawyers out there who actually want to make you feel that way. They just want to make sure, hey, do I have a case? If I do, okay. If I don't, let me walk away before I put money into the situation. I'm not getting anything back. And that's completely not the case. So if anybody needs somebody that they can trust, somebody that is going to be there for them, somebody who's going to make them feel like they are the most important person, then yeah, they need to call the Hartman Law Firm. It's a must. So I want to just keep them in my back pocket. So if anybody looks at me wrong, I say, hey, I got Frank in my pocket. You really don't want to mess with me. Yeah, I could definitely turn to Frank for anything. I'd call him up and say, hey, this is what's going on. He's like, okay, well, do you need anything else? Do you need me to look into anything else? And I say, no, I'm good. He's like, okay. So I could definitely turn to him. If we could bottle Frank and sell him in a supermarket, I doubt there'd be enough money to pay for what he's worth. I really doubt it. So whatever you sell him for would not do him justice. He'd be getting a great deal. If you want a great lawyer, you definitely have to come check him out. Just give him a call and he'll do the rest.